It's another beautiful day to be a Raider, draped in the silver and black. I represent the shield. I represent the swords. It's that time of night again, Raider Nation. And you come back. Why? Because it's time. It's time to bring them.
What's up, Raider Nation? I'm the Commish, coming to you live, as always, from Hardcore Challenge Live Studios. Where is that, might you ask? It's a little place that we like to call deep behind the enemy line. This is Raider Reaction Tuesday night, and as always on a Tuesday night on Raider Reaction, it is a solid hour with yours truly, and a little thing we like to call the Raider Nation Report. And as we discussed last week, we're going to spend a little extra time on what the roster may look like, what we would like it to look like, and what it could possibly look like coming into the 2018 season. Now, last week on the Raider Nation Report, and then followed on the rest of the shows of the week, we maintained the theme of discussing the offensive side of the ball and the moves, possible moves on the offensive roster. Now, we're going to do the same this week for the defensive side of the ball. So put your defensive minds upon you tonight, because we're going to talk Raiders defense on this edition of the Raider Nation Report. Now, there are a lot of free agents out there, but there's only a very small handful of guys that are that possible big game changer for your defense. But there are some places that you could possibly upgrade. Maybe not necessarily a superstar, but still an upgrade and a adding in maybe some youth. There are some things that can be done. But first, when you're looking at the defense, you got to look up front, and I want to look in the middle first. Justin Ellis. I'd say he's kind of a fan favorite. A lot of people like Jelly. I go back and forth. This is a position I believe we could use an upgrade on. This is honestly a position I would like to see drafted third in our upcoming draft. It's a position I think should be addressed in the draft. And I think he could be, I agree with Neil, I think maybe it's time for him to go. I think that's a place we could upgrade. Is he a bad player? No. And maybe he's worth something on the market. But that's definitely a position of upgrade. Now, this one's kind of a heartbreaker as you look at Eddie Vanderdoes. As Eddie goes down right at the end of the season with the ACL. Now, he's going to be rehabbing pretty much all through the offseason. So much for his vacation. And, hanging out, kicking it on the beach. That's, unfortunately for Eddie, he's going to be in rehab now. All off season. So Eddie still works into the equation, but how is Eddie going to be able to work into the equation at the beginning of the season at 100%? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. So you have to put a big question mark behind Eddie Vanderdoes. Thank you, Raymond. I wondered when somebody would notice. I'm going the full old school tonight. Has this even got the vintage green? It's the full vintage LA Raiders and the vintage 1984 Mark Salad. So I'm rocking the entire LA Raiders ensemble tonight. Thank you for noticing, Raymond. Gold star for you for the evening. I always tell my wife as I'm coming in, I wonder if anybody's going to notice I'm rocking all LA Raiders tonight. And every once in a while, somebody will catch it. Because usually if I'm wearing the hat, I'll rock the jersey too, because, you know, I'm stupid like that. Oh, we're working our way there, David. Patience. We're working our way there. We're getting to them D-backs, because that's going to take a minute. We're going to have a conversation on that. Gonna have to have a conversation on that. So, you've got Trayvon Hester, you got Darius Latham in the mix as backups. Neither one are solid starters. So, you're looking at your two best guys as Eddie Vanderdoes and Justin Ellis. So, you gotta say, we can obviously use an upgrade in the center of the offensive line. Possible. You know what? I'll touch on that. Because that shit didn't pop up until... I'll grab that one, Paul. I will grab that one and run with it. Because this didn't pop up last week when we were talking all offense. This all of a sudden pops up and... a little fire under it. So I will touch on that. Give me just a second. I will touch on that. Absolutely. Because I had a post on the page about that. So I agree with Dick. Well, touch on it now. Now I got my train of thought derailed. Le'Veon Bell. Rumors of a possible interest between the two of Le'Veon Bell to the Oakland Raiders. First off, Le'Veon Bell is going to be pissed if he gets franchise tagged, and I believe that's around $14 million, somewhere around there. And he's going to be pissed off at that. Le'Veon Bell is on the record as saying he wants paid as a number 1 running back and a number 2 wide receiver. Do you know the kind of coin, the kind of cheddar that entails? That's a lot of freaking money. And you're worried about having possible money to keep $7 million for Michael Crabtree? And you want to bring Le'Veon Bell in the mix? And listen, yes, he's a possible elite talent, but he's also an elite whiny bitch. And he just punked out on his team, showed up only like 5 minutes left in walkthroughs before the biggest game of the season, and basically helped sabotage his season. Just put bad mojo in the locker room right going into the biggest game of the season when it was all on the line. And you want to pay that a guy with a questionable attitude like that kind of money? Maybe 2 years ago, I would have maybe thought about it. But now what you see, the kind of psyche he has, the kind of person, I don't know if that's the kind of guy you want to pull into that locker room. I don't think so. I don't think that's the kind of guy you pull into the locker room. I really don't. In a perfect world, in Madden, he would be a great addition. Because you're just looking at his attributes and his statistics. Because attitude doesn't matter. In Madden, he'd be great. In reality, attitude matters. And having cancers in the locker room can ruin a season. And I believe Exhibit A would be 2017. So, Le'Veon Bell, that's how I feel on that. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's too much money, and I think he's not the kind of attitude we want in the locker room. So, upgrades at defensive tackle. Definite possibility. Now, defensive ends. Mario Edwards Jr., Khalil Mack. You got Denicio Autry, Jihad Ward in the mix as well. Obviously, Khalil Mack is Khalil Mack. I mean, he's one of the he's the premier talent in the entire freaking league. Possibly one of the best players, bar none. What do you think about Mario Edwards Jr., Raider Nation? What are your thoughts on Mario Edwards Jr.? Because I'm torn on this guy. What are your feelings on Mario Edwards Jr.? He's an interesting... Because if he's healthy... If he's healthy, he's solid. But the fact of the matter is, he can't seem to stay that way. Your number one attribute as a player is availability. If you're not available, it doesn't matter if you're the fastest goddamn guy on 2 feet. Don't mean shit if you can't get off the fucking bench. So, you know, talent is one thing, availability is another. I agree with Austin. I think Autry is a guy that maybe should get a little more of a shot. What about Ward? Ward's been a bit of a question mark thus far. Jihad Ward has been a bit of a question mark. Is end somewhere? So, looking at this, I think more of our need is up the middle on the defensive line, not as much on the ends. I think we have somebody we can plug in on both ends because we have Autry backing up Edwards, even if maybe the two need to switch. Maybe Edwards needs to play more of the role behind Autry, and we find a more serviceable backup, send Ward packing for Mr. Khalil Mack. Maybe that's what needs to happen there. We'll circle back to that. Let's move on to linebackers. Where do we start? We'll start with them. We'll go with, like, just for discussion purposes, we'll go with 2 outside linebackers and a middle linebacker. So your outside linebackers, you got Bruce Irvin and Nicholas Morrow. Basically are your 2 starters. Brady Sheldon and James Cowser, Shalik Calhoun, and Tony, are all in the mix. Cowser, Calhoun, Sheldon, your backups to Irvin and Morrow. Now up the middle, you got the big question mark on Navarro Bowman. And then Marquell Lee. The big draft pick from last season who also a little banged up. Also a little banged up. And has been. Much like the entire freaking rookie class. It's the only 2 guys that were really anything were Lee, who missed time, and then Vanderdoes was the biggest success, really. And that poor guy goes down at the freaking end of the season, man. What a goddamn shit way. Now, Austin, I'm not ready to give up on Marquell Lee yet. I'm not ready to give up on him yet. I need to see a little more out of him. Just a little more out of him. 1 year is not enough for me yet because I did see some. He's a tracker. He's a missile on covering the run. He's a little suspect on the pass. as Raider Devillion used to remind me over and over and over again. Back before when the season was starting. And he may have been right. May have been right. Do you think, just like Jake said, do you think Irvin is getting old? Do you think he's the guy we need back there? I have a big question mark besides Bruce. Agreed, Austin, and that's the biggest quandary of this defense, is it is so hard to grade these players based on what happened last season. Because the person running the ship was changed. And when the change happened, productivity increased, turnovers increased, yardage allowed went down, sacks went up, everything improved statistically on defense. Everything. So how do you grade some of them when 2/3 of the season you were running a shit-ass scheme? Just doesn't seem fair. Doesn't seem like a fair grade. Kind of like one of our corners, Mr. Sean Smith. He comes under a lot of fire. But you know what? The last games, when Pagano was out, Pagano was in, Norton's out, Sean Smith is the best goddamn corner on the team. It's truth. It's just the truth. He was the best corner on the team, man, after the defensive coordinator switch. So what do you think we should do at linebacker before we move on to defensive backs? Oh, because my God, you know that's going to take a minute, Raider Nation. Corners and safeties? Shit, we could spend this whole show. But what do you think? Seriously, about our linebacker situation. Do we bring back Navarro Bowman? I think we do. A guy that you plug in that late in the season, and he jumps in, puts the freaking earpiece in, and says, "Game on, let's play football." And he was a baller from freaking snap number one. You bring that guy back. He proved heart of a Raider. You bring him back. 100%. That guy comes back. You sign him. Whatever you got to do. He comes back. Nicholas Morrow. Surprise. Popped up out of nowhere, unexpected. He deserves another shot. He deserves another year. He's got to stay in the mix somewhere. Whether he's a starter or not, questionable, but he definitely needs to be in the mix. He deserves another year. He was a shining star that was not expected. That leads you to Bruce. Do you go one more year with Bruce? Attitude-wise, Bruce seems to fit in. He seems to be a team player, a player the team likes, the fans like him. So, sometimes a player like that just a little can get by. A little extra. Because I wouldn't mind seeing Bruce back one more year. I wouldn't mind seeing this linebacker core have one more year. I don't think they're as bad if you add a little more depth there. A little more depth, add some more youth. You know, Cowser was a bit of a shining star. He popped up here and there as well. Like I said, it's so hard to gauge the defense last year because It's like night and day. From the beginning, 2/3 of the season to the last third. Night and day. Because you gotta throw the first 2/3 out. They were handcuffed. Handcuffed. If you are just joining me, this is Raider Reaction every Tuesday night. It is the Raider Nation Report with yours truly, the Commish. So we spent a solid hour of talking everything silver and black. This week, our theme is defense. As we're talking about possible releases, who we would like to see, what we might think might happen, just generally how the defense may take form coming into 2018. Now tomorrow night, mid-show of Ghost to the Post with myself and NorCal Raider Rick, we have a very special announcement. We've touched on it. We've teased on it. It's official. We're going to kick it off tomorrow. So make sure you are watching Ghost to the Post, Silver and Black Coast to Coast edition. Myself and NorCal Raider Rick. Exactly mid-show tomorrow. We have a very, very special contest that we'll be kicking off to help you get through the off season with no Raider football. And that's all I'm going to say. So tune in tomorrow, mid-show. We have a very special announcement. It's only going to be very limited slots available, and it will be first come, first serve. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, mid-show. Also on Thursday, I'm still working on the Thursday show because the Thursday show I leave open. And like last week I had Captain in studio. And I'm working on this Thursday. I'm not sure. Could be, I don't know. I'd like to have an interview. Maybe I'll have a night where I invite some of the audience on that night. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Bouncing some ideas for Thursday. But of course Friday. You know it's Black Friday. And we will have another classic Raider and Black, Silver and Black classic up for Black Friday. And then this weekend, we're going to be on location at the Pro Bowl, Raider Reaction, bringing you live action from the tailgate, the Silver and Black tailgate, hosted by the Orlando Raider Nation. Before the Pro Bowl, we'll be out there Saturday night and Sunday before the game. So, we'll have some live action for you at the Pro Bowl this weekend as well. So, I think we know where we need to be right now at linebacker. We'll come back to that if need be. Now, let's step into it. Let's step into it. Cornerback. David Amerson and Sean Smith. David Amerson, I think that experiment needs to be over. I think we need to let him go and move on. I think we need to let him go. Sean Smith, on the other hand, it's a different story. And due to his legal issues, is a complex story. Now, this knucklehead that Sean Smith got in the altercation with was suing the Oakland Raiders as well for basically training Sean Smith to be a freaking untamable wild animal, I guess. I don't know. An uncontrollable physical specimen that shouldn't be allowed out in society. Basically training. I don't even know. But that lawsuit, the Raiders have issued subpoena or issued paperwork to have that released. Now, that takes that part of it out, but they're still dealing with the legal aspect of it. So if he doesn't do any time and nothing really happens legally, and he's available come next season, I say yes, he should be in the mix. But we'll see. We'll see. Now, TJ Carey is going to be a free agent. At points, for the first part of the season, he was one of our better corners. But, like I said, that's a hard period to gauge our defense upon. I'm up in the air on TJ Carey. I really am. I go back and forth. Is he a guy I would like to see get one more year? Not so sure. I agree, Michael. It does somewhat come down to money. And I agree with draft. That is where I think we should go number one overall again, is get Conley's counterpart. I think a healthy Garyon Conley fits in and mixes in our starting rotation at corner this season. And I think we go out and get a corner again. That's how bad we need a set of shutdown corners. Because if we had the shutdown corners and the back end to match up with what we have on offense, with the proper coordinators using them, but we're going to be drafting from the very top. Oh, we'll be getting into that, Michael. Oh, we'll be getting into that. Oh, don't you think we're not going to have our own draft special at Raider Reaction? Come on now. Come on now. Those picks will come. Those picks will come. JP, the college football, Raider Reaction college football resident guru, will be back. And that will be coming on a future show. More to come on that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Give me a little segue there to bring that up. That talk is in the work as well. We are working on that now. Our own mock draft special. You know, I'm not sure, Lines. I will look into that. I am not sure when that coin flip is going to take place. I swear it takes place closer to draft time. But I will look into that. That's a fair question. Let me just note that down. I gotta look into that. Unless somebody else can pull that up on line, our Raider Reaction resource service out there. When the coin flip for between us and the 49ers. I don't remember seeing a date of when it was going to happen. Is it at the Combine? It is at the Combine. It is at the Combine. I knew what it was as soon as I seen that. See, the Raider Reaction Resource Service always comes through. That's what I'm talking about. Good looking out. Good looking out. I knew that. It's one of those where you could just like, I know I should know that. Seemed like such an obvious question. But, yeah, well. That's why I have you guys. It's a team effort. It's a Raider Nation. It's a team effort. So corner. Behind those guys, you've got Dexter McDonald, Antonio Hamilton. Man, I'm sorry. I think we need to go and grab one of the best damn corners we can possibly get in the draft. That's honestly what I think. Sherman? I don't want Richard Sherman, man. He's getting old. He's not what he once was, and he's going to bring mouth, and he's going to bring issue that we don't need on the team. His talent level is not equivalent to his mouth on your sideline anymore. Well, there was a day that it was, but it's not anymore. He's not the player he once was, and nah. I'll pass. I'll pass on that. Now, looking at our safeties, Obi's still a big question mark, man. We don't know what Obi's going to be. I have a belief that Garyon Connolly is the real deal. The very small amount of plays I've seen him play, they're just a couple. That play where he just and swats that. There's only a few guys that can make that play. I don't care if it was one fucking play. You know, hey, jumping from the free throw line and 360 dunking the ball is one play too. But that's one awesome motherfucking play. And so was that. That was one awesome play too. And when I seen that, I sat up and I was like, my eyes got big and I was just like, damn. Damn, did you see that? Did you see that? I'm telling you. Match up another young stud on the other side of him. Give him somebody to grow with. Because you're getting Garyon Connolly this season as basically a rookie. He didn't do shit last year. He didn't play at all. So you're getting him as a rookie. Man, give him a buddy. It's not necessarily, Steven, because you can have those guys as the vets helping back him up. Because you're not going to start that other guy right out of the bat, right off the gate. Because you got your Sean Smith, you got your TJ Carey, you got those guys that you'd keep there. But you get this other guy, and you start mixing him in on that side. Then maybe a few games in when he's starting to get it going, you turn these two young guys loose, man. There's nothing like the number. I'm going to put that up on the page. What's in the cup? What do you think is in the cup, Raider Nation? What do you think is in the cup? See, because if you were around back in the good old days of Raider Reaction, back in the good old days, back when it was on Reel to Reel. No, we used to crack the tall boy at the beginning of every show, and then there's always, I swear to God, man, there's always some. There's always some asshole that whines about everything. So I dropped it. I switched to the. I decided to switch to the mug because that way nobody knows what the fuck I'm drinking, and I like it that way because nobody can say, "Oh, look at him. He's up there with his bottle. That guy's obviously a drunk asshole." No. You don't know that I'm a drunk asshole. Because how can you prove it? This could just be some sweet tea. How do you know? Well, you know what I know sweet tea because I fucking hate sweet tea. That's just disgusting. Who the fuck puts sugar in tea? That's a whole nother, that's a WTF right there. What the fuck? This fucking, Nah. So you know it ain't sweet tea. I can tell you that. That's about all I can tell you. Mad Dog 2020. Oh, good Lord. You gave me goosebumps just mentioning that name. Oh, my God. Oh, like an orange jubilee and the freaking grape. Wasn't there like some nasty ass like fucking strawberry banana fucking flavor too? Ugh. My God. That shit was horrid. But you only need like about that much in a glass, and you was freaking twisted when you was about 15, 16. Not that I advocate underage drinking at all. So scratch that. I mean when you were 21 and 22. Yeah. And cheers to you, Raider Nation. Cheers to you. It's Purple Passion. Vintage. Zima. Zima. Fucking. Oh, yeah. Ah. I remember somebody gave me one of them things in a club once. It was like when it first came out. And somebody handed me one of them fucking Zimas. And I was like, what in the fuck is this? It's like Sprite. Oh my God. What the fuck? Alright, I got way off topic there. Alright. Back to safety. Back to safety. Oh, that's hilarious. You gotta just go with it sometimes. That's the beauty of being live. So you guys are awesome. That's for a whole nother show, Steve. That's for a whole nother show. Like, what did you used to get fucked up on when you were young? We could do a whole show on that. But, you know, then again, there'd probably be some shit come up that would just probably scare the shit out of half of us. We'd be like, there'd be that one guy that'd have the story that'd be all be like, yeah, didn't need to know that one. So, you know, you gotta tread lightly when you drop out subjects like that. Because, you know, you're opening up Pandora's box. Because, you know, there's no filter on this. You know, Jeffrey Dahmer's cousin could be watching us right now. You open up things when you're on this freaking wide open thing they call the internet. You never know what you're gonna find out there. There might even be a Browns fan or two. I doubt it, but maybe. Possibly. Now, back to safety. Carl Joseph. I like Carl Joseph. Reggie Nelson balled out in training camp, fought to get that job, one last shot, and he didn't do shit with that last shot. He didn't do nothing with it. I was a big fan of Reggie, but Reggie, you got to go. You got to go, Reggie. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, you have to go. Now, Obi is a big question mark, man, because Obi is just like Conley. See, this is the thing, Raider Nation. Here's the thing. We didn't get our number 1 and number 2 picks. We didn't get them. We didn't have them all season. So you got to look at those guys as extra picks, basically added into our draft class this season. You're going to have those 2 toys to add in our toy box that we did not have last season. We thought we were going to have them, but we didn't. So now, you got to add them in with this new group that's coming in. So you got Obi and Conley. Obi's a big question mark for me, man. He's a big question mark. Obi played a little bit, and I never got that wow moment from Obi that much. I just didn't. I was like, he looks like maybe he's a project. But I wasn't standing up and getting any wow factor from anything that I seen Obi Melifonwu do on the field. So he's still a question mark. Am I ready to give up on him? Absolutely not. He needs a full solid season. I need to see what he can do over 16 games of an NFL season. I need to see what he can do. Shalom Lawani. I, as much as a lot of other people, wanted Shalom Lawani to excel. He seemed to be a ball hawk. He seemed to be the guy that needed a little extra time. But I don't know. I'm torn. I didn't feel like I seen enough. But again, I need to see another year of Shalom Lawani. So he's got to be in the mix. Keith McGill, Eric Harris, they're replaceable. They're roster depth. So defensive back is definitely somewhere we need to address again. There's a ton of free agents out there. You've got Malcolm Butler, corner from New England. Tremaine Johnson, corner from the Rams. Kyle Fuller, corner from the Bears. E.J. Gaines, cornerback Buffalo. Patrick Robinson, cornerback Philadelphia. Morgan Burnett, Eric Reed, Trey Boston at safeties. You've got a lot of talent on the free agent market. You can pick up a veteran. Out there on the open market this season. It's a pretty deep free agent market at corner and safety. So I think we need to draft, go for an elite talent. We need to take a shot. Go for an elite talent. We've got a top 10 pick. Let's go for a top freaking corner. One of the top corners in the draft. Papa, you are the worst troll. You're the worst troll. Sometimes I wonder if Popeye's trolling me half the time. I just see these comments roll by, and every once in a while I'm just like, what the fuck? Oh my God. You my boy. You my boy! Oh. Oh, that one made me laugh. What a knucklehead. Oh, goodness gracious. But I think the future at safety looks bright. I like Carl back there. And if Obi can pan out, we'll see. But I think either at corner, whichever we do not decide to draft, which I feel should be our number one pick, cornerback, then we should address safety in free agency. If we decide to go vice versa, then obviously vice versa, how you should address it as well. But I think we can pick up a younger Reggie Nelson type. A veteran safety to go with our young guy. Tight like hallways. Smoked out always. That's Popeye. You've got a lot of guys, man. when you look across the list of free agent corners and safeties that are out there, man, there's a play. You know what? What about a 31-year-old Tyvon Branch? I was a big Tyvon Branch fan when he played here. That dude was a banger back there. What do you think about bringing a guy like that back? There's lots of options at corner and safety to be picked up in free agency. So I think we can really stiffen up that position on the roster with one pick, some health out of Obi and Conley, and one solid sign at free agency. Absolutely, Steve. Anytime. Anytime. But the defense as a whole, if health is good, is not a bad thing. We need to address some spots. Like we discussed, Raider Nation, I believe we need to upgrade up the middle of our defense. I think at defensive end, we can function. I think at linebacker, we're not as bad as everybody thinks, if we're healthy. At corner, obviously we need to upgrade. We need health, we need a draft, and a possible free agent. At safety, draft or free agent. We need to upgrade there as well. And Reggie's got to go. David Amerson's got to go at corner. We've got to trim fat and let those guys go. Let them go. Now we're going to continue talking. I'm going to have NorCal on with me tomorrow. We'll get into a little more defense. Defense is going to remain our theme through the rest of the week. So we'll discuss a little more tomorrow. Now make sure you tune in tomorrow to Ghost to the Post, Silver and Black Coast to Coast edition. As mid-show, we have a big announcement. We're opening up a contest through the off-season. It's only a select few will get in. So, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Mid-show of Ghost to the Post. As we will give you the details. A very special announcement tomorrow's show. So make sure you tune in. We've dropped some hints here and there over the past week, so now we have a strict no nipple policy on Raider Reaction, Paul, so we can't, we dropped we've went completely MA, but we have maintained the no nipple policy. So, other than that, we don't have a lot of rules at Raider Reaction. Except for the ones that make our page disappear. Like that. So, that's like rule number 2. Rule number 1's always bring the fire. And rule number 2 is the no nipple policy. Those are really the only 2 rules of Raider Reaction. Always bring the fire and, wear pasties. Words to live by. Words to live by. So, obviously, it's a long off-season, Raider Nation. And we wanted to just, like last week, we wanted to touch on the offense, just get kind of a first look over. Get a thought of what you guys were thinking. Match it up with what we were thinking. And then moving forward, we know how to work this. Now, on defense, we're going to do the same thing. We've got months to dig into this. That's the word of the day, Lines. Now, did you think you was going to turn into Raider Reaction tonight and hear us talking about pasties? No, you did not. It's been one of those shows. We are going to talk special teams. We are going to talk special teams next week. Special teams and coaching staff. Next week is what we are going to spend some time on next week. But we're going to continue talking defense. NorCal will be on with me tomorrow. And a very special, very, very special announcement mid-show tomorrow. So I want you to tune in. Because I know some of you guys are going to want in on it. Because there's not anything that we do, there's not anything that I don't do that I don't go all in on. And if you're in my fantasy league, you know that. That's why we're having our 10th anniversary this year. Everything I do, I'm all in on. So I'm here every fucking night. Every night. Kicking it with you. So, I always like to end my solo shows, the little segment I like to call my WTF. Now, my WTF for tonight is, there's not, there's talking heads on every channel. You know the ones. You got the guys on ESPN. You got the fucking douchebags on Fox. You've got, talking heads here, talking heads there for every sport. Specific for sports. Sports in general, blah, 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 blah. They all got something to fucking say. There's this one guy. He only ever pops up, like, this time of the year. When real football is starting to die, and there's nothing to talk about between now and draft time. I have never liked this guy. Never liked this guy. He's always rubbed me wrong ever since I was little, man. I was like, well, what's up with this fucking guy's hair? He's a schmuck. I don't think he just picks shit and is wrong all the time. And, he just gets lucky once in a while and he's some fucking genius. Mel Kiper. I can't stand Mel Kiper to begin with. He's a putz. Now, first off, he's already had a mock draft like 2 fucking weeks ago. Like, seriously? Now we know you're the king of mock drafts, Mel. But you have to come out and have one already? Like, seriously? Because I'm the king of fucking mock drafts, I gotta get one out when we're still, like, just starting the NFL playoffs. Like, what the fuck? Seriously? Now, on April 19th of 2010, Mel Kiper wanted so badly to get his point across that he laid down a proclamation. That if Jimmy Clausen was not a successful quarter, staking his reputation, his claim on it. His name, his reputation. If Jimmy Clausen was not a successful quarterback within 8 years, I'm done. I'm out of here. Packing my fucking bags. Well, Mel, guess what? A month or two, it's about to be 8 fucking years. Right around draft time. And I don't think the fucking pickle is on anybody's fucking hit squad anytime soon. And you're about to fucking have to pay up. So get the fuck out. I can't stand that guy. And you put him and Todd, what the fuck, McShay or Todd. Those two fucking jagoffs together, man, makes me severely want to say, what the fuck? Thank you for joining me. Make sure you tune in mid-show tomorrow. Go to the post, Silver and Black Coast to Coast edition. Myself and NorCal Raider Rick. Big announcement, mid-show. Starts at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Big announcement at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. As always, I appreciate any second you spend with me on Raider Reaction, because any second you spend with me is the second you ain't spending doing something else, and I freaking appreciate it. New, old, my band of pirates. Thank you for joining me. I'm out. Peace, love, Raider Nation!